there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. In about half an hour, I gotta take a little break though, since my dad wants me to wake him up. That's my mission for the night, because he has to work overnight. So if I fail this mission and he does not make it to work in time, oops, no internet for me for who knows how long. So I must do it. And did I summon for Robin? Robin is so mean to me. I like her so much, but she rejected me so hard. Well, I got her, but First, I lost the 50-50 on her banner. I got Himeko, but you know it's fine because that means Mama Himeko loves me. And then eventually I got Robin on afterwards. And then I tried for her light cone. And I lost the 50-50. I got Vailu's light cone. I'm still going for Robin's light cone, but oh my goodness. It hurts. Desire sensor is too real. Oh, the pain and suffering. I did not expect to lose two 50-50s. But you know, it's okay. I'm just proving my love for Robin. It's my support to her. And that's what matters, right? Ha ha ha. Sad. But it's okay, I'm just building up my gacha luck for other banners, maybe? Yeah, I'm just gonna stay positive. Just like for here. Like how Artoria's still saying no to me, but you know, there's still hope in the world. Worst case, I buy a bunch of these beautiful rocks before her banner ends, but you know, no, it's fine. And now let's see what kind of chaos she's gonna cause tonight, starting off with Val's Mask? Oh, okay, I gotta protect two areas. That's not scary. That's fine. That'd be fine. Speaking of Artoria. Stop knocking on the windowsill. Are you trying to send a secret message? As you can see, I am unable to play my cello because it's been arts locked. It is uncomfortable. Unless you would care to join me for a chat. Absolutely not. Very well then. I suppose I'll have to wait for another guest. Try anything funny and we'll bind your arms and legs with arts. My apologies, but Grimlock has forbidden anyone from meeting with Artoria. Not even an Empress's voice? No exceptions. Then what about Ifigeganade's envoy? Ifigeganade sent you? Was it not clear enough? Now this is a surprise. To think you'd be the first to come and see me. This is the second time we've met, Artoria. Oh, more than that, I would think. How many times have we met in the sound of music? I see your words are as mysterious as your music. And yourself. Me? Mysterious? On the contrary, I'm far more open and frank than most. So an Empress's voice, a paragon of law and order, has come to meet with a dangerous felon alone. Even going as far as to fake an Empress's orders to do so. Then must have taken quite a bit of determination. You knew I wasn't sent by Ifigeganade? There's nothing she could possibly want to ask me. But you, Viviana, your face is full of question marks. So what would you like to know from your former enemy? Allow me to guess. You want to know the truth behind your father's death. Ja. That said, I'm not answering questions. Do I need to offer you something in exchange? A trade. How about you simply open yourself up to me and allow me to search your heart? That's... Oh, pardon my impertinence. Then let's tell a story together as usual. Artoria, you're coming off too strong. Once upon a time, there was a child who lived up on top of a tower in the middle of a storm. Until the age of 9, she never left her little room in the tower. You know my... Oh, don't give me that look. Like I said, this is simply a story we're telling together. I imagine you're a part of it, and reach out to yourself. Very well. Tell me, what is it about the tower that left the deepest impression on the child? The window. It was a small room. The window was small too. You could reach out and touch the cold, wet clouds. The storms rarely abate in Sturmland, do they? Ja. Dark lightning often knocked at the window. My mother would hold me, telling stories and reading me poems in a soft, gentle voice. What about your father? One night a week, he would come to the spire where I lived, bringing me books and teaching me to play instruments. You looked forward to these meetings. Did you leave your room and wait for him at the top of the staircase when it was almost time? When I was little, but I stopped. What happened? The skies were very dark that day. It had been a long time since my father's last visit. I was out of candles, and I wanted to find some, so I went further than I usually did. I saw so many children and adults. The music combined with their laughter was louder than the thunder. That's when you realized that not every child had to stay in their room like you did. That they could hold their parents' hands and dance and sing to their heart's delight. Ooh, hello. Ja. Did you see your father there? Did you look for him? I wanted to, but my mother pulled me back. She covered my ears and tried to cover my eyes too. It hurt a bit, but I didn't dare say anything. She brought you back to your little room. Did you look up? 9. I kept my eyes closed. I heard my mother crying, but I didn't dare look at her. Didn't dare? Ja, I didn't dare go down the stairs. I didn't dare look for my father anymore. I never looked up again, even after my mother passed away when my father sent me away from the spire. Why not? My father was a Kurfürst. He and my mother weren't married. My existence was a secret that would hurt my mother and make things difficult for my father if anyone found out. No, that's not what I'm asking. How did you feel? Me? You were the one trapped in the spire. You were the one forbidden to recognize your father. You were the one who watched your mother waste away. You were the one sent away from home. When you went to Kashimirish and decided to become a knight, you held a sliver of expectation. After all, the stories of your childhood, the stories about knights, had long been your source of comfort. But you soon realized you were no more than a puppet of the General Chamber of Commerce. Even your childhood in the spire was boiled down to an exotic label, the Lithuanian, an advertisement destined to sell in the markets of both countries. You left the arena after getting on the wrong side of the KGCC. You thought you would finally have some peace and quiet, only to be summoned back to Lithuanian by a letter from your father. Once again, you find your fate written by another, a legitimate child, competition knight, Empress's voice. You never chose any of these identities. And it all started in that spire, at the top of those stairs. You're right. It's been so many years, but sometimes I feel like I'm still there. Like I never left it. Once again, think back to the memory that left the deepest impression. That day, when your father took your hand and descended the seemingly endless stairs, you didn't look up. I couldn't. If I did, he would see the tear stains on my face and the tears in my eyes. Anger. I already lost my mother. Why are you pushing me away like this? Ja, I had nothing. Why abandon me? I already lost my mother. Why did I have to lose my father too? Why couldn't you have waited in Marigold Alley just a little longer? I know, right? Just 10 minutes more. Why did you write for me to come back, only to leave me again once I returned with hope in my heart? Artoria does not answer. She simply gazes at Viviana, at the ripples in the lake of her eyes. If silence can be considered an expression of sound, then their emotions could resonate even without a melody. Anger, frustration, pain. The same emotions reflected in Artoria's eyes. She sighs and awakens the dreamer from her memory with gentle words. That's enough story time. Kurfürst Werner was my friend, Viviana. Our meeting was so ordinary that it's hardly worth mentioning. He was a high noble, but also a sensitive and romantic artist. We often spoke about music. A few months ago, his envoy found me while I was traveling. He knew his days were numbered. All he wanted was to see his beloved again, through my music. He wanted to see Mother. Not just Lucinda, but you as well. Werner did reminisce about his romance with Lucinda, but he spent even more time in that little room on the spire. Those nights with you and your mother were his only comfort in those painful early days as Kurfürst. That's how I knew your story. So it wasn't. No, I did not use art on you. I'd already met you countless times through Werner's mind's eye. You must hear this often, but you really are so much like your father. I know. But it was only when I saw you in person that I realized you're more than just that flickering candle. More than... What? You're so much stronger, so much tougher than a candle flame. Now I've told you everything I could. If I talked to Artoria like this and she gave me the same kind of talk, like how she did to Viviana, I'd be like, sure, whatever. Just because a lot of people do say I'm like my dad too. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You guys say that I look just like him. I don't appreciate that because he always tells me I'm you, but prettier. I'm like, F you, Dad. Whatever. So if this kind of talk happened, I'd be thinking of those kind of moments and be like, thanks for comparing me to him like other people do. Kurfürst Werner died over the copy of the Goldenes Gesetz. On that matter, you know as much as I do. You told me he knew his end was coming, which means he knew how he would die. Correct. Protecting the Goldenes Gesetz was his vow to the twins, and his duty as Kurfürst of Sturmland. Whether it was the movement or its loss, the responsibility and blame lies solely on Sturmland. Only by giving his life for it could he protect his loved ones and House Hochberg, all while ridding himself of a ticking time bomb. It was all for the Goldenes Gesetz? I think I understand. One last bit of advice, to thank you for your trust and sincerity. When I first saw you, I also saw the shadow behind you. But now it's growing, filling the entire staircase outside. Danke, Artoria, for the answers. My dear Viviana, how pitiable, how noble. Will you be swallowed by the shadow? No, we're gonna believe in Viviana.
Phew, made it. You move so quickly, Herr Eric. I could hardly keep up. Pardon my excitement. I thought I wouldn't be able to leave Sturmland, but the Empress's voice delayed the visit. Kurfürst and succession ceremonies really take this long, not since the reign of the Witch King. Stop worrying. Schöningsturm. What could be more important than seeing their majesties? Hurry, and we may even secure a seat closer to the twin spires before anyone else arrives. Hey, why is that man not moving? Guten Tag. Are you here for das Kaiserinnenfest too? I suppose so. Where's your instrument then? What are you going to do for the ensemble? The ensemble? The ensemble of the Goldenes Gesetz, the most important part of the ceremony, bathing in the glory of both the Golden Melody and Nathanian. This is my master's first time attending. I have his flute with me. Ah, of course. Do forgive my nosiness. Which Christ do you hail from? Does it matter? Oh no, I don't mean to pry, only that it's customary for those from the same Christ to stand together. I see. Please go ahead, we will follow. Oh, very good then. I mean, danke, mein Herr. May Grimmock's glory and Evigegenade's blessings orbit you like the sun.
Just gonna casually follow these dudes. I wonder how long they've been walking.
Seeing the Twin Empresses' spires for the first time. The white dress of Evigiganade, the eternal grace, the black blade of Grimoct, the austere authority. Their two spires resemble them so very much. The twin spires are Schwillingstürm's namesake. They're the pride of Lithanian. No matter how beautiful, they're no more than two elaborate cages. An apt metaphor. Das Kaiser Innisfest. They say it's for all Lithanians, but only nobles are allowed to join in the ensemble at the amphitheater. It is, in effect, a performance of an arts ritual. A ritual? Did you see the bridge connecting the spires? That's where the Twin Empresses play every year. The sound of the pipe organ and the violin are amplified by the resonance between the buildings, spreading to every corner of Schwillingstürm. So it's some kind of art. The old man told me that it's a work of Herkomschorn. He turned Vedunian into a massive arts device, with the bell tower of Weinschaft at the center. And the Twin Empresses have built upon the Witch King's arts. To avoid making the same mistake as them, they set up the Twin Spires as a center of the resonance, effectively tuning the entire city and making it virtually impossible to assail the spires from the outside. Anyone wanting to attack the Kaiserinnen will either need to destroy the entire palace area where the spires are located, or work from within. Spoken like someone who's given some thought to planning such an attack. Wait, don't tell me you actually... If we see the Gendarmerie or the Empress's voice, remind me to run faster than you. Quiet. The celebration is about to begin. People are coming. Try to blend into the crowd. Don't just stand there like earlier. What about when the ensemble begins? We didn't bring any instruments unless your sword is a far bit more versatile than it looks. If the ensemble begins.
I want to hear the performance. I met the distant relative of yours. Exactly as you predicted, she offered a generous lead. Perhaps we really are trapped in some kind of illusion they created. What if the Witch King's remnants aren't trying to use the Golden Nescassats to get to the Witch King's legacy, but to use the Witch King's powers to tamper with it? What if their goal has never truly changed?
What are you still doing here, Mind Dame? All the Empress's voices in Schwillingstürm have been summoned to the amphitheater.
I'll be on my way.
The cell holds a dangerous felon, and it is quite far from the amphitheater. I'll need to contact Grimox. I would not recommend that. Asancta? What's Asancta doing here? Let's catch him together, Mind Dame. He may as well be in league with Artoria.
Sorry.
I was about to ask your opinion on how to handle this.
So if I weren't here, would you have simply done it yourself?
My presence here already violates diplomatic protocol. An additional rule being broken is of little consequence, other than in terms of the subsequent cleanup. You are an Empress's voice. Michael has told me of your circumstances.
I appreciate your kind gesture.
Huh?
It was my own decision to visit Artoria. I didn't want my father's death to be meaningless. I didn't want to keep my head down and pretend nothing had happened. I wanted to fight for something, to finally seize my own fate with my two hands.
You chose to let Artoria perform your heart's music?
9. The melody was always there, echoing in my heart. I just chose not to listen to it until now. I believe she's telling the truth that the Golden Escassats is at the heart of the problem.
The Imperial casters have recovered a copy of Golden Escassats. However, I've learned that Artoria has an accomplice with whom she was in close contact. The available evidence indicates that this person may not have been the mastermind behind the Ludwig's Universitat incident.
Then, can we assume that the Witch King's remnants have already obtained the arts recorded in the copy? The Golden Escassats will be performed by over 10,000 people at the amphitheater. If the Witch King's remnants are in that crowd, the consequences will be unimaginable.
I would like to share our current findings with Michael.
Sure. He might be able to persuade Grimoct,
But that's not enough. We must take action ourselves, even without their majesty's permission.
This should be fine. Totally.
The musicians and the instruments are in position, Frau Lobenstein. Very well. Give me a moment while I double-check the application arts. You're back, Emily? Did you forget something? No need to be nervous. This is your first public performance as part of the orchestra. Just hold your instrument steady and focus on the melody. Pay no mind to anyone watching. Oh, it's you. Adjust the direction of that arts unit, will you? Turn it counterclockwise 17 degrees. Yeah. That's how it should sound. But why are you here this hour? Is Evigeganade still concerned about the effect on the performance? Frau Lovenstein, where are the other musicians? At the amphitheater. The performance of the Goldenesgesatz will begin in 10 minutes. The Reich Orchestra needs a good start under the direction of the Kaiserin. Only 10 minutes? The Kaiserin's weathercasters have forecasted this exact time of today's sunset. As per custom, the performance of the Goldenesgesatz will conclude just as the last ray fades. The rehearsal schedule has been hard, but we'll be able to rest once we get through this evening. You too, Viviana. I've been thinking, you'll need to find a long-term residence in Schullingsturm if you're to remain by the Kaiserin's side when this is all over. Would you like to stay at my place? I have a little mansion in Bokshof. I just had the walls repainted. Brand planted some vines, which he says goes well with the walls, but to be honest, I'd like a second opinion before I commit. Frau Lovenstein, Cora. Ja, what is it? How might one stop the performance of the Goldenesgesatz? Why do you ask? This performance has been the most important part of Das Kaiserinnenfest for the last 23 years. So many people are waiting in the amphitheater in front of the spires. I've almost gotten to the bottom of these tragedies. I'm sure the enemy's plan has something to do with the Goldenesgesatz. They cannot be allowed to succeed. And how did you learn this? Have you told Evigeganade? I don't know who to trust. I can't stop thinking about who killed my father. You suspect their majesties? You're an Empress's voice, Viviana. Who's there? A friend. He's keeping watch. The Empress's casters are coming. So soon? It will take more than 10 minutes to neutralize them. The performance of the Goldenesgesatz is about to begin. Don't fight them. I'll be with you, Viviana, no matter what you do. You believe me? Do you even need to ask? Besides, I can't let you put yourself in danger. You want to stop the Reich Orchestra from playing the Goldenesgesatz, right? I'll take you there.
Oh, Cora, you're amazing as always. Cora's best girl.
They've gone out. What? The candles on the stairs. The room is so much darker now, don't you think? What are you doing? Stay away from the door. There are less people out there now. Have they gone after that lovely Empress's voice? Frau Hochberg is suspected to have fallen under your influence. She will be taken into custody until the conclusion of the celebration. It was a mistake to allow her to meet with you. A mistake, you say? You knew the new Empress's voice was a daughter of a Kurfürst, and had the favor of Evigeganade. Compared to working in Grimmock's Dark Spire, you clearly show more interest in its twin, the White Spire. So you let the Empress's new favorite come in without the proper checks, just to curry favor with her. What are you babbling about? But you soon realized the danger. Let me guess, Viviana did something unbefitting of her status after she left, didn't she? Now you're afraid. Grimmock and her executors will not tolerate such a gross error. You would lose any chance of promotion, perhaps even your freedom. So why did you make a second mistake then? What? Music? How can this be? Grimmock, please. Knight, spare me. I can't listen. Too late. There are just too many instruments in Lithanian. Your arts units, like your souls, are laid bare before me. You're knocking.
You dared not carry your instruments with you in my presence, so you left them outside the door. But in your haste, you forgot the protective arts. You forgot that vibrations can be transmitted. The tiniest tremor of a string, and you're hearing my music.
Oof.
Well, looks like Artoria's getting out now.
Check my crown, would you? Ja. Your fingers are cold. Sorry. How about this? That better? You've been clutching your sword all day. Its chill has rubbed off on you. It's time. We should head on to the bridge. Hildegard. Ja, what is it? Am I pretty today?
Ma'am, you're gorgeous.
As always. Grimacht. Evigeganade. Your wolf club is here. Go first. Lysalot, the people are waiting.
I like both of their designs equally. Like, okay, you know, maybe being an Empress's voice wouldn't be so bad, actually. Since you gotta be the Empress's voice to both of them.
We've always walked out onto the bridge together. Nothing is obliged to stay the same forever. I'll find you before the performance begins. So why are you here? I thought you preferred it down below. I have an urgent matter to report. Bring my violin. We'll talk on the way. 9. Please, you must order the celebration to be halted. The Witch King's remnants are in the crowd, planning a massive attack. Proof? Please, just give me a little time. I'll find the proof. You didn't used to be so brash, Michael. The reckless Sancta has changed you. Federico, the Lateran executor believes that a larger incident is in the works, and it has something to do with Artoria. We should interrogate her. What does she know about the Golden-Escasats? Who are her supporters, and what are she and her accomplices planning? As long as the performance of the Golden-Escasats can be delayed, I can. I see you believe in this. I see you believe the celebration to be a mere festivity. The Kaiser Innensfest took place 23 years ago on the day we killed the Witch King. But there were no empresses, and no celebration, only soldiers fallen in battle, and a tired and frightened people. We defeated the Witch King in the early dawn, and spent the next few hours cleaning up his followers. At dusk, Lysalot and I descended the spire, walked down its bloody steps, and announced our victory with a duet. Today, the 10,000 people in the ensemble come from every crace, from all 4 corners of Lithanian.
So the day that they did the thing, first thing they do after leaving is performing a duet. As one do, you know? That is one way to make an announcement. Breaks out into concert.
Every Lithanian, every friend of Lithanian, and every enemy of Lithanian has their eyes on the Twin Spires, on Grimacht and Evigeganade. And you want me to suspend, even cancel, the ensemble based on the hypothesis of a Lateran executor who has already caused his fair share of trouble in our country. ...
is right. And oh, it's been like half an hour. I gotta go wake up my dad real quick.
BRB?
Okay, all done. It's all good now. And even if she does trust Michael, which she probably does because he's under her, canceling stuff without proof is kind of, bad. Honestly, like doing stuff just on hunches is, I don't blame her for that.
Perhaps I expected too much of you. You should have known I would respond like this before you even spoke, and if you truly believed in your judgment, you should have acted on your own. On that account, the daughter of Werner von Hochberg is far more resolute than you. What? How long have you been with me, Michael? 7 years. It's time to let you go. What? Why would you say that? There comes a day when one must shoulder more responsibility for the sake of Lithanian's future. Bring me my violin. It's time I went to the bridge.
Oh, little birdie's being pushed out of the nest.
The orchestra is 10 meters below us. The sun has painted the clouds red. 3 minutes, 50 seconds until the performance begins. I will fire a blank. The noise should cause some of the musicians to scatter and interrupt the performance. The musicians of the Reich Orchestra are all arts masters, each one the equal of an empress's voice. We would be drowned in arts the moment you showed an intent to attack. The equivalent of 97 empresses' voices then. Plus 2 squads of approaching casters for a total of 120. I can give you 3 minutes. You must secure the remaining 23 seconds on your own, Signor Hochberg.
3 minutes? But if this is the only way, delay the casters, leave the rest to me. The shadows of the twin spires stretch as the sun sinks towards the horizon. They swallow up the shadows of the musicians, of Cora, and Viviana herself. She has never felt her power unleashed like this. She is reminded of that flickering candlelight in the spire. It was a tiny flame that only illuminated a corner of the bed, leaving the other corners, the spiral staircase, and the night beyond the spire in total darkness. There was a time when she couldn't admit that the darkness would linger in her eyes longer than that tiny speck of candlelight. Success. I cut off the connection between some of the musicians and their instruments.
What's going on? We've been affected by somebody's arts. You, Frau Lowenstein, are you being held hostage?
You could say that. 9. I'm sorry, Emily.
You're in league with each other.
I made my choice and I will not hesitate. Could you please just put down your instrument for a while? Yeah, sorry, no concert right now.
There are fluctuations of art, energy coming from below the twin spires, and some commotion from where the orchestra is. The Witch King's remnants? Possibly. Strange. There should be guest lists watching the area, but I don't see any. Why? I see. The Kaiserinnen knew that something terrible would happen here. They prepared to abandon the twin spires if necessary. They'll even abandon all the... Mind her! You were from Sturmland, ja? Why do you look like someone spooked you? The ensemble's about to begin. Here, I have an extra flute. You can borrow it. A flute? This performance is not to be missed. 9, you can't be here. Go. Leave the amphitheater. You like a better position? I suppose we could squeeze. I'm not. Do you not see these? See what? The dice I'm holding, my arts unit. What are you doing? You'll give yourself away. Does it even matter at this point? Look around. There must be 10,000 people here. No, we can't even worry about that now. All we can do is save as many lives as we can. Even just one more. It's too loud here. I can't hear a word you're saying.
All that, and he's just like, what? Speak up, my boy.
Look at me. Look at my arts. Do they remind you of anything? I am an Urtica. My arts come from the same lineage as him. You should be afraid. Run. Amazing! Do you hear that? The Imperial musician just played the first note.
I like this guy. Oh, young noble, you're unintentionally hilarious. Like, hey you look stressed. Have a flute. Oh, cool. Did you hear that? Wow, amazing.
The performance of the Golden Escasas has begun.
The black arts orb rises from his hand and into the air, exploding into a reddish black shadow. It is quickly buried by even more brilliant rays of arts. And watch, after that, that guy's gonna be like, wow, look at this! Look at the light show, amazing, beautiful! Rays created by various originium arts interweave in the clouds. Both the melody and the arts come from the people on the ground, all focused on performing the music belonging to Lathanian alone, using instruments that also serve as arts units. Even the buildings resonate with the twin spires, turning the empty space around the Kaiserinnen's towers into a true amphitheater. The colors penetrating the clouds continue to shift with the splendid melody, as though the crowd is performing the color of the sunset in the sky. It is a feast of sight and sound woven together by arts, the ultimate expression of Lathanian's classical aesthetics and majesty over arts. It is a grand spectacle visible from any corner of Schwillingstern and beyond. Tears begin to fill Ebenholz's eyes. He remembers standing atop the spire of Erdika, gazing down at the plate below. There were many bell towers in the Grafschaft, which sang every day at dusk. The people would leave their workshops after a long day of work, and the sound of wheels rolling over metallic roads would echo with the music filling the city. Ooh, hello, hello. He could see the green-black wilderness. If he stood on his toes, Einwald was filled with forests, and caravans brought ripe fruit into the city whenever they were in season. Farmers often amplified their scents with arts to attract customers. He could always smell the best fruits, even from his high perch. Oh, that sounds amazing. I want to smell the delicious fruits. The maid who sympathized with him would sneak a few back from the market, as long as no other nobles were watching. Yeah, this would be a fun festival. Like, look at all the pretty lights, and you're gonna hear beautiful music, and heck, you're probably gonna smell delicious food. The fruits were ripe and fresh, unlike the carefully selected, dried and withered food served on the long, old table. He could not remember what became of the maid. Did she go join her beloved in the south, or did she find a new job at the instrument workshop beneath the spire? And when he left Erdika, did he ever look back? Let the dark clouds scatter. Let the morning sun shine. Praise be to Lathanian, home of the free. Yes, he had once loved this place from the bottom of his heart. Lathanian, the land of divine music, cradle of the arts. More light show! The performance has begun. It sounds so harmonious, even without the strings. There's a theory I've heard, though I've never tried to verify it. The golden escasats contains the will of Lathanian. It represents order, harmony, and beauty. The golden melody is deeply rooted in the soul of every Lathanian, and is not so easily damaged.
That sounds like a form of originium arts. It shares some characteristics with our law, but works on different principles and on a different target.
So, the golden escasats is actually a kind of complex arts affecting the cognition of every Lathanian who hears it. Passed by more than 10,000 people in ensemble, so we can't disrupt the performance. But what about the enemy? What's their plan?
The enemy's plan is undoubtedly the opposite. They want the music to continue, therefore, there's only one place they can be hiding.
What are you doing? I put down my cello as you asked.
Frau Hochberg and I have not prevented any musician from leaving. Your colleagues are either resisting her arts or chose to avoid confrontation due to Frau Lowenstein's presence. You're the only one to have stayed behind.
Very astute, Sancta. We have waited far too long to hear the music that truly belongs to Lathanian. The other Witch King's remnants are among the musicians. Stay away from them, Cora. Are you crying? Ja, I'm listening to the golden escasats. The movement? It's just so beautiful. It reminded me of how much I used to love Lathanian. I wonder how many of them are hiding within the band. And by them, I mean the Witch King's remnants. I'm just imagining them changing this from classical concert to a rock concert. Which would be fun, because I like that kind of thing too. It's fun when music does that. From classical to metal. And oh, I should probably bring out a healer soon. If not my boy will be in trouble. Kind of, sort of, not really. Ow, can you just like not hit? Can you just like not do that? Okay, thanks. Seriously, can you just stop? Look at you being annoying with your attacks. How dare you? Actually, I should bring that healer down there too. You know, there you go, healer. Bam. All is good. And should I put you here? You know, there seems good. And over here, why not? Can you just stop? This is fine though. Actually, wait, I gotta bring out actual healing down here, you know? That'd be good. Okay. Well, the Witch King's remnants have all been kind of like, for the most part... I'm not sure if bitter is the right word. They've just been nasty for the most part, so... The bias towards like the Empress's side is understandable. And yeah, they definitely chose violence. I was 15 when I entered the Witch King's Spire. I came from an ordinary family in Kreis Einwald. I should not have been able to become a noble's attendant, but I heard that Her Kampfstor made no distinction between nobles and commoners. This was not because he treated commoners particularly well, but because he looked down equally on all who cowered at the foot of his throne. At first, my job was to clean his instruments, but Her Kampfstor no longer played ordinary music, and those instruments had no meaning. Later, I was sent to clean the resonance pipelines at the top of the spire. It was not a difficult job, but Her Kampfstor would not tolerate even a single speck of dust in them. My colleagues came and went. Few got to leave on their own 2 feet. In the end, I was the only one left, quietly cleaning at the top of the tower. And 1,000 sunrises and sunsets later, the Witch King's spire fell. Not even a single speck of dust.
Cut off the way down. Attention all squads. Find the Sancta. Do not allow her to enter the amphitheater and interrupt the performance of the Goldeneska Thought. The target is known to use unusual arts. You have permission to kill if necessary.
Hello? Were you looking for me?
Barrier up. Get information. Catch her. Arturia Giallo. The Athenian took you in when you became a pariah in Laterano. Countless nobles honored you for your remarkable musical talent. The Kaiser Innen granted you rights equivalent to spire nobility, so return to your cell and submit to them, and they may yet allow you to live.
That was never an option. What point is there to living if I can't play freely?
Then accept your death.
Your arts have gotten stronger.
You missed your chance to break out, Sancta. The Goldeneska Sats is in progress. Do you see the scene outside? Your parlor tricks are meaningless before the golden glory of the Athenian.
Yes, I can feel your will is firmer than ever. But it is your will expressing that music. Or has that melody convinced you that what you see is what you think?
That's irrelevant. The golden melody guides me. My will echoes along with it. You, our enemy, will melt before the Athenian's radiance.
She's gone?
An illusion? But there was no music.
Why does everyone keep assuming that I create illusions? I warned you, when your emotions are being controlled by a melody that doesn't belong to yourself, you can easily overlook the reality before you. Like where I moved to in that radiance.
Behind. Barrier, too late.
Now, I would like to ask you to kindly remove the arts cast on my instrument. There, it's clean now. Danke.
How did we lose to you?
Normally, I wouldn't stand a chance, but your souls have become stiff and inflexible due to the bindings of the Goldenes Gesetz, creating innumerable weaknesses in your arts.
But why? With arts like these, you could have changed your destiny, enjoyed wealth, fame, and favor beyond reckoning. What meaning is there in defying the Kaiserinnen?
I think we have very different views on the meaning of meaning. Fame, fortune, status, all merely accessories to a soul that will eventually wither and rot with the passage of time. Kerfurst, Beggar, and myself, the only difference is in the whispers of our hearts. I want to climb the tallest spire because of a melody, a soul, and a future. And for a promise I made to a friend. So basically, because why not? 10 years has passed since the death of the Witch King. I was attending the funeral of an old friend. After the funeral, I saw Sancta with her cello in the amphitheater below the twin spires. Others came and went, but she stood there from noon until sundown. According to legend, even the clouds stopped for the Witch King when he played up on his spire. I wonder, do the clouds remember what the spire looked like back then? I suppose not. Clouds change so quickly after all. My teacher often told me how he stood beneath the Witch King's spire while it was still standing, playing for the sole sovereign of Lethanian. The golden red clouds embraced the dark spire like an extravagant robe. He wanted to come back and see the spectacle again, but wasn't allowed to participate in Das Kaiserinnenfest. In fact, he could barely get permission to leave his home. Her Emmanuel was one of the Witch King's musicians after all. Even if just for a short while, times were hard for him after the Witch King's demise. Few came to say their goodbyes, and you are the only one who truly shed tears for him. I heard you playing at the funeral. It was very touching. Danke. But that doesn't bring even the slightly bit of comfort to my teacher. I asked to play for him while he was still alive, but he refused. During his days of pain and hardship, he refused to dwell on the happiness of the past, nor did he seek any change. He simply shut himself in his room, playing the Goldenes Gesetz over and over again. Through that unchanging melody, he drowned himself in Lethanian's greatness, forgetting love, forgetting hate, and forgetting himself. Yet, when faced with death, his heart was still filled with regret. I've heard far too much regret over these long years. My image of her Emmanuel remained that of the energetic old man who thanked you with a hearty laugh when you passed him his instrument. I heard that, in the end, he was too weak to even lift a bow. I thought that without the shadow of the Witch King's spire, the skies of Lethania would change greatly. I thought that, going from Vidunian to Schulingstern, from the Witch King's spire to the Twin Empress's spires, the melody echoing in the dusk would be somehow different. But both then and now, we are like the clouds, unable to control where we drift. Oh, what's going on now?
You. Why are you not going downstairs?
I have no interest in this sort of concert. A melody that binds the listener's will is just another form of law.
How did you know?
As complex as your arts are, their structure is clearly visible to those familiar with Origini Martin music. In that sense, it's different from Laterano's law. Music should come from the unrestrained breathing of the soul, but you turn it into a cornerstone of order, all to control people's wills and wear down their emotions. True bonds beneath souls are growing weaker. People are increasingly unable to understand one another, unable to respect the emotions of one another, and as such, do harm to one another. Such a rigid melody is no music at all.
Ugh!
We're almost at the top. I should start preparing for the next piece before this one ends. It's almost time to make good on our promise, isn't it? As you said, this is a good place to play or listen. Ooh, it's almost time for the craziness to start. Officially start, anyways. Is this my deepest memory? Yes. Sorry. Why apologize? Very few have invited me to play their heart's music of their own accord. Most did whatever they could to escape. Yet you have bared your soul to me. For that, I am grateful and overjoyed. I just thought I could show you the death of the Witch King through my memories. My music simply follows the melody of your heart. It cannot decide what you recall. All I can do is feel your emotions and recreate them. Sounds like sculpting then. You could say that I discover and record rather than changing one's true visage. There's only one reason we cannot enter the Witch King's spire in your memories. Whenever you recall his death, there is a hand that truly moves your emotions. A hand that grabbed you amidst the great flood of arts. Whose hand was it? Whose hand was it? It was... Look out! They're coming one after another. Federico and I will try to hold them off. You're blind, and it's too risky. Grab my hand and stay close. You're so much like him. You mean... my father? This is just like when he grabbed me under the Witch King's spire. He grabbed the hand of a servant he'd never met, and protected me through one wave of arts after another. You were in the spire the night the Witch King died. You never told me that was how you met. Ja. I had just lost my sight and was cowering before the half-collapsed stairs. Neither the Witch King's guards nor the twin soldiers would have paid any heed to a humble servant. Instead, a squad from Sturmland found me. I was led by Werner, looking for his missing father and brother in the spire. His heart must have been fraught with worry, but he couldn't ignore me shivering in a corner and pulled me out of the ruins himself. That sounds like him, all right. I would have done the same. You're both good people. Very good people. It's such a shame that... Why are you covering my ears? No need to be afraid, Viviana. It'll pass. This will all pass. The friend Arturia mentioned is probably someone we know. It's either, unfortunately, Cora, or her old master. Maybe both?
What's happening? The music has changed. It's hideous. My head. Who's attacking me? It's like someone stuffed 1,000 screaming foul beasts into my brain. These fireworks too. The colors. It's so crass. This is wrong. This isn't right. Am I playing it wrong? Is everyone wrong? Her from Sturmland. Are you right? Don't touch me. I don't know who you are, and I don't want to know. Are you the one who played it wrong? Are you trying to break something? Everything? Ugh, ugh. Something went wrong with the... Something went wrong with the melody. But how could everyone be wrong at the same time? And how could a simple mistake lead to something so... painful? Look at the Twin Empress's spires. It's him, her Kumshorn. I'd recognize it anywhere. His power is eating away at the Golden Neskasat. The Witch King's remnants. Where are they? I knew there was some left. It's time to fight Lessing. You're not affected? By a few dark clouds. After what I had to live with in my head every day of my life. The Golden Neskasat itself, though. It made me miss Urtica. Now that is deeply disturbing. That is the power of the movement. It defines Lithanian and its beliefs. I don't want someone else deciding what I should miss, what I should love, and what I should praise. But I'm guessing that whoever it is that's sabotaging the performance is after more than just pranking the Kaiserinnen and the nobles outside of Schulingssturm. Imagine if this was all just a prank. Enemy on your left. I know, your side too. Let's do this together. I didn't think anyone retain their senses. For once, I'm grateful for everything you've done to me. Pain and chaos in my brain are like old friends by now. Good work. You too. So why are you acting just fine while everyone else is in agony? I'm beginning to suspect that you're a lich sculpted wooden puppet. I was trained from a very young age to deal with this kind of situation. And what kind of situation would that be? The collapse of the Golden Escasats. Please tell me you're joking. Do you see the golden glow rising over the edge of the amphitheater? I've never seen so many Gesatz Watcher in one place at the same time. Her Majesty's order. Surround Grenade Avenue and Mocked Avenue. Do not allow the corrupted Golden Escasat to spread. So many Gesatz Watcher and Gendarmerie. The entire Schulingstern will be on lockdown before long. It's no use, it's too late. Her Kumshorn is back. The one true king has returned to Lethanian that rightfully belongs to him.
Quiet, please. We're leaving. Viviana. Cora, please promise me. Don't say or do anything for now. I might have tried something if it were just her Rainer, but there are too many of them, and just one is equal to... And each one is equal to a knight champion.
Why do you not speak? Why should we hide now that the curtain is about to rise? Our dream, our obsession, the moment for which we had given both blood and soul is finally upon us. So why is there no joy in your face? Concerned.
I told you to be quiet. You knew. Since when? I visited Marigold Alley before I went to see Artoria. I wanted to see those drawings again, the images that gave me such warmth. But I didn't find anything. All the drawings, the ones with marigolds in them, the ones with clues leading to the Witch King, all gone. You took them, didn't you? I only needed to take the ones containing the clues, but I couldn't bear to part with the marigolds either. My suspicions were confirmed the moment you told me that you were there the night the Witch King died. When you cleaned the canvas back then, you left the spot untouched, the part showing you. The Witch King's remnants were after witnesses to the Witch King's death, and you were one of them. But you're different from the others. You're not an innocent victim. I didn't want to say it. I didn't even want to ask. Why couldn't I be selfish just this once? I'm sorry. I really am sorry, Viviana. Why? Why do I have to lose something I only just found?
We should fight together, Content Master. The Gesatz Watcher are here. We've come so far. It would be a shame to die at their hands now.
The amphitheater is a scene of chaos. The tuning continues. The Ludwig's Universität incident already proved that only the Kaiserinnen could fight Her Kumshorn's arts. What would the twins think of my little show of selfishness, of betrayal? I am not especially concerned. Well, let's see how they're taking this. Do you believe that the Golden Escasat can completely change its tone?
I only care about the result.
The last person to rewrite the Golden Escasat was Her Kumshorn, but even he did not consider its destruction.
The movement is a foundation on which Lethanian is built. Its destruction will undermine everything, our aesthetics, our habits and usage of arts, the Kurfürsten system, the Imperial authority. It will bring unprecedented change to Lethanian. But change isn't completely bad. If it were, we would never have been born. A pair of children born of arts, in defiance of the laws of nature. This is just the beginning. That's what Fremont said to Leopold. We were but infants at the time, but I know you understood what they said as well as I did. We were born with a duty. A duty to change Lethanian. Leopold was afraid of us, which is why he had an army ready to tear us apart from behind the moment we killed Her Kumshorn. But we survived. We may not have chosen to be born, But once we had the right to live. 23 years ago, we stood here, gazing at the same sunset, over an altogether different scene of chaos. You extended your hand to me before we began our long-awaited duet. You said, "This sunset doesn't belong to anyone. Not to Herkomshorn, not to Leopold, not to the Kurfürsten, nor to any other ambitious noble. Ja, you took my hand and we walked here together. There's no need to answer to the Kurfürsten. No need to be manipulated by anyone. Our fate is ours alone to decide. And apparently, someone else shares the same desire. Such a curious thing, the human soul. To think that even artificial children would learn human desire after gaining souls. That through a wish as simple as can be, the meek may be able to accomplish what even Herkomshorn failed to, and redefine Lithuanian. You want to ask whether I let Cora roam free on purpose, don't you? Are you not of the same mind on this matter? Our thoughts are linked, even if it's been a long time since the two of us have watched the sunset together. Let's stay a while. It won't take long." "Very well."
I like how the Witch King's remnants were like, "What would the Empresses think of this? Heh heh heh." Well, in actuality, they're just enjoying the show. They're like, "Yeah, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. Let's watch." They're just eating popcorn.
What will the future look like? Would you still watch it with me, Hildegard?
Like, of course.
Where's Cora? Viviana.
I could hear Brant's voice. He's fighting the remaining cultists. They won't last long. But the other is even faster. Viviana's silent, but her arts draw closer. I feel a shadow creep over the top of my foot. As cold as a storm at night. Ooh, hello, hello.
Look out, Concertmaster! Concertmaster! How my arts went through. This is tuning. Why? I'm sorry, Emily. Like I said, my decision has never changed. Huh. It's nothing. We've betrayed so many in our lifetimes, perhaps too many. Herkomshorn's eternal spire. It's so close. I'll be waiting for you on the stairs, Concertmaster.
Emily must have turned to dark dust before me. This is how it is for the Witch King's followers. They don't want their bodies to linger in the land that lacks Herkomshorn's favor. She's dead. Most of them are. The remaining resistance will not last long. And the same for me, I suppose. You deceive the followers of Herkomshorn. Ja, the Kaiser Innen's instruction was to become the Concertmaster of the Witch King's followers, to become a hope and a lure, and to lead them into the abyss by their own volition. It's been 23 years. Everything about the Witch King, the long nightmares, the deep-rooted fears, the meaningless ambition, should have been gone from this country a long time ago. So why is the tuning still going? Because Werner. Did the Kaiser order father's death? I tried to persuade him. I tried so hard. I wanted him to hand over the copy of Golden Nescassats so I could move it elsewhere, but he was concerned that the Witch King's remnants would catch on, thus nullifying the bait. I asked him if maybe Brunt could arrive at the scene earlier and save him at the scene of the attack, but he refused. He said that he was already dying. I would soon get to see Lucinda. A few more days wasn't worth dragging you both you and Sturmland, into it. Okay, I see how much he liked Lucinda, but I'm just wondering, what happened to the wife he married? Like the actual wife. But you'd have gotten there if only he'd held out for a few more hours, or less. He was too determined to leave and gave up too easily. The day Werner died, I recovered the copy of The Movement and watched you return to Sturmland, walking the path paved for you, so similar to his. And I made the choice that had long been brewing in my heart. The Golden Nescassats. You're using Herkomshorn's arts to tune the music. You're trying to destroy it, or rather, the influence it holds over all Athenians. They say that fate is an endless spiral staircase. If so, the Golden Nescassats is a staircase trapping Lithuanian.
Stairs built on 1,000 years ago, glorious and beautiful on the outside, yet rotted to the core and the inside. I've seen so many people trapped within. Her Emmanuel, Gerhard, Frida, Loris, and Brandt, all suffering the tidings of fate, helpless to change it.
Well, in Cora's case, just don't get on her bad side. Then you're fine. It's fine, as long as you're not on her bad side.
The Witch King's spire fell, yet more rose to take its place. Those beneath the spires wished to climb them, while those atop them aspire to an even higher perch. They come and go, up and down, an endless wealth of hatred and conflict, pain, sorrow, and regret, filling the souls of one generation of Lithuanians after another. You too, Viviana. Once you enter the Kaiser Inn and spires, you will only speak what they want you to. I can see. I've already seen how you will be forced to live a life you don't want, just like your father before you. The Golden Escasats never changes, Lithuania never changes, tragedy never changes, unless we free ourselves from the movement of the past. You say you want to change our fate, but who are you to decide who gets saved and who gets sacrificed? I can't. It's not my place, nor is it anyone's. You want to destroy the old order, but where's the new order? Can you guarantee it will be better than yesterday or today? I can't. Our future isn't for someone like me to decide. Those who died for the plan, and the people right before us, don't you realize the pain they're in? I hear them, their screams, their laments. I will never stop hearing them, not until the day I die. Then why do you have to be the one to change everything? Because I can. That's the only reason? Someone has to. My life never had much meaning to begin with, except for one speck of light that never fully belonged to me, and I would do anything to keep it from going out. I can't condone your cruelty, arrogance, or irresponsibility, and as such, I must stop you. Of course, disaster has already struck, and by my hand. I've caused so much death, with even more to come. Just stop this. I can't, not after what it took to get this far. Do you know what it is about your actions that I agree with the least? You really are heartless. No! Viviana! Cora!
Sorry, Brandt.
I know. You're soft on the outside but firm on the inside. You just can't turn your back on other people's pain. You don't want to make things difficult for Brandt either. You're always thinking of others even now. And I'm glad I got to die at the hands of the one I love the most. I'm sorry. Are the clouds beautiful today? No need to be afraid, Viviana. It'll pass. This will all. She embraces me. I can feel her hand on my back trembling. I want to hug her and comfort her like I used to. Perhaps I did. I talked so much, even though I'd already begun to go numb from blood loss. I can imagine her lake-like eyes beginning to rain, her gentle complexion warped by torment. She only just learned that I've never clearly seen the faces of her father and mother. Through Werner's words, I could only imagine how they looked, how they met, and how they fell in love. After all, I went into that dark spire the day I came to Vidunian, and the day I left it, I could no longer see. Everything I know that's nice and beautiful, including Brandt, was brought to me by Werner and Lucinda. Except for one thing, except this. The day that Werner brought the girl down from the spire to me, the day that I touched her soft, timid hand, the day that I wiped away her tears, that was the day I became certain of it. I love this child, not because she was their daughter, but because I saw in her something that none of us had. You deserve a better life than this, Viviana. If there really is one.
Goodbye, Cora, my best girl from the event.
23 years ago, I heard the sound of fighting from below, and gave the resonance pipeline at the top of the spire a little push. Just a little push, something anyone could do. It created the tiniest gap in her Kampfschwan's defensive arts,
He never had imagined that a humble maidservant would have the courage to betray him. Today, I tampered with the resonance pipelines of the Twin Empress's spires. All I did was restore the Witch King's tuning components, according to the arts he left behind in the copy of the Golden Escasats, then activate them with my own humble arts. Life is too short. Do nothing and you leave no trace behind, like the clouds floating past the spires. But no one should drift with the wind like that, unable to determine their own future. Many desires change. I'm just the first to extend my hand. I hope that after this, all good people, all the people I love, will have a true future. I still like Cora. Yeah, of course she chose Viviana in the end. She loves Viviana. She even says she got to die with the one she loved the most.
Sorry, Brant.
I feel like Brant probably had like a thing for... He probably really liked her too, but... And heck, he was even told that after this he could go on like a vacation with her. But sorry, Brant. Nah. In the end, you can't have that, my boy. And uh-oh, let's see. Okay, actually that's not too bad. I gotta just defend 2 exits. And now, Concerto Resurrection. Boop. The clouds above swirling Sturm are floating so freely. Is this what you wanted to see at the end? Ja, your music helped me see. Incredible. Not through my eyes, but through my mind. I gave Viviana a few hints, just as you wished. She wanted so much to have a real family, but she didn't follow her strongest emotions. Nine, my dear friend. It was her feelings for everyone that led to her decision to kill me. Are you satisfied? Why wouldn't I be? I greeted death under the gaze of the one I loved. No need to mourn for me. This is the best end a sinner like me could hope for. Danke. Thanks to you, both Viviana and I will go further. Your emotions will vanish into thin air before long. When the music ends, the strings may continue to vibrate for a while, but all sounds eventually fade into silence. No one can keep a cloud around Artoria. The soul is frail. Even the most powerful emotions and the greatest desires will inevitably reach their respective ends. Even for the strongest of souls. Is that not what you're here for? I'm leaving all of my emotions and memories to you. Did you find what you were looking for? Yes, perhaps. I'll know soon. Goodbye, Artoria. I hope you find your answer in melody. Cora Lovenstein, my gentle and stubborn friend. I was glad to have you on this journey. We'll work to achieve this future we sought together. You and I will meet again in melody. Dot dot dot. Cora is fading away?
Get away from her!
Her Rainer. Cora.
There is no need to explain. You made your decision, and put it to action. As for the rest, this isn't the time to speak of it, for neither of us.
The Black Flame took her. It was similar to what happened at Ludwig's Universitat.
They were both her Kampfschorn's arts, but not quite the same. The caster in that incident was an imitator who activated them by force, but this power feels almost like it's like his own.
Red-black energy rumbles in the clouds. It does not impatiently tear, swallow, and spread. Instead, it paces, watches, and waits, on that throne in the clouds.
Do you see it? The great Herr has heeded our call and granted us an audience. He has called forth the staircase leading to his eternal spire, the Genesis Horn.
The followers of the Witch King laugh. They play the most piercing notes on their instruments, aiming them at their own chests and throats. In response, the black clouds extend several tendrils above them, towards them. Alrighty. The dying cultists kiss the hand that their king has extended and became one with the black flame, ascending to become part of the dark cloud that now hovers above the twin spires. Yeah, technically the Lich King would be the Twin Empress's dad in that case. The sky cracks with a dissonant roar. The Athenians' greatest and most terrible sovereign, Hercumshorn, issues his edicts to his people.
Hercumshorn is really back. We have a problem. Bound by the arts inherent to the movement, the people continue to play. But the altered Goldeneskasats now only feeds Hercumshorn's power. What did you just do? Try to shoot the cloud. Now's not the time for this madness. Madness? Not at all, Lessing. Do you know how long I've waited for this moment? I was destined for this ever since his noise was forced into my head. No, since the day I was born. You told me to fight, to face my responsibility and the sins head on. And you were completely right. Hercumshorn is my sin, and it's my responsibility to face him.
Ah, first Hercumshorn was struck down by his daughters, and now his son.
I just need a way to drag him down from his palace in the clouds, or wherever he is. Or I could send you up. What?
An invisible thread catches him by the collar. It is light, gentle, and cool. Suddenly, it constricts. He's just being flung through the sky.
Arg! Who are you?
Oh. Hello, ma'am. Rude to yell that at someone who just saved your life, don't you think?
The black flame. It landed right where I was standing.
Listen to Lessing and stop shaking your wand at the clouds. He can be a little stiff, but he's more reliable than most.
That was awfully sudden. Ermengarde.
Were you expecting a schedule? A timetable? I rushed all the way back from Casdell. Look at how much wear and tear there is on my cube thing. My hat got all dirty too. Mind if I clean it with your horn?
Yes.
You're no fun.
Just keep your hands off my horns. How bad is the situation?
Extremely. I don't even need witchcraft to tell you that much. This place is filled with threads that don't belong to it. It's so messy not even a lich could clean it up. A little rain wouldn't solve anything.
Are you a lich too?
Do I not look the part?
I thought...
You thought liches were all old men with long white beards, dressed in robes covering head to tail, with skeletal staves in their hands? Oh, imagine if that was actually the case.
I thought liches would have more refined vocabularies.
Evan Holes, did you want her to roast you just like the old man did?
What happened to the old man?
You know the first thing about him, don't you? Of course he went straight into that cloud. He strode back from the border of Lithanian the moment Hercumshorn opened his eyes on the throne. And he pulled on all our threads too. I'm sure even the liches of Casdell could hear him cursing.
How many of you are here?
Everyone who could come. Do you realize how inconvenient this is? It's like you were planning to move and I loaded all of your scrolls and talismans on the truck, and the very next day you hear that your old home is getting blown up. I mean, can't you Lithanians keep things together for even a single day without us? Now back to the Empresses.
The liches are back. This is a serious situation. The Genesis horn is about to descend. Grimmacht, your violin! Good. We haven't played together in a while, Lysolot.
Ja, the ensemble performance should be coming to a close, as is the custom. Then it's our turn.
Hercumshorn, the calamity that Lithanian has always been destined to face. We already beat him once. We can do it again.
And now with, I guess technically the little bro's help, aka Ebenholz.
It is the Kaiser Innen's melody.
Grimmacht and Evigeganade have made their move.
Do what you need to, Viviana. We'll do our part as well.
Golden light floods out from the Gesot's Watcher's sword and armor. As the light engulfs him, the other Gesot's Watcher respond to the Empress's melody. Beams of art shoot towards the sky from every corner, drawing closer together and joining up. The sky is covered in black, but an even brighter cloud rises from the ground. Under the golden arch, the sound of an organ gently covers those beneath the twin spires, while the violin's passionate, soaring notes pierce the rolling clouds like a sword. Dozens of hands weave thousands of threads, plucking at the melody in the sky and the wind, making them even clearer. The twin empresses, the Gesot's Watcher, and the Liches, all the guardians of Lithanian stand together against its former king, now returning from the void.
The chaos grows.
Only the Kaiser Innen's melody can fight Hercumshorn.
Melody, organ, violin, and cello.
I can't hear the cello.
It's part of the noise. Not at all like ordinary music. Your ears are accustomed to hearing music, but mine are equally receptive to all forms of sound. The conclusion is clear. Artorias escaped from prison.
Piercing noise!
What is this? The falling black flame. It's standing up like a human? Is it the work of Originimarts or...
The unfortunate truth is, I probe them with witchcraft, and there are fragments of human emotion containing the art's energy within.
Are they still alive?
Of course not. Even we, who deal with death on a daily basis, couldn't survive with neither a body or a soul. What we're seeing are merely shadows of their former lives. Or, as the fanatics would put it, echoes.
Good for them. I guess their dream came true.
It's not good news. Normally, such echoes can only exist in, how'd I put this, a space where flesh and blood cannot exist, or anything else tangible. Where there is no concept of life or death, no passage of time, the only thing that can survive there is information. Under normal circumstances, echoes are simply trails of information that exist only as lingering illusion. But the emotions I felt in that black flame were flowing.
Get to the point.
You're as impatient as a block of wood. Fine, you're not liches. Long story short, reality is being encroached upon, and Hercumshorn has really spruced up that little pocket dimension of his. His consciousness probably lives on within.
So, you said you could send us up.
Absolutely. But are you sure about this? Like I said, no one's ever been inside other than Hercumshorn.
If he can exist there, why couldn't I? Might as well try.
Ah, to be young and daring. After dealing with boring, depressed old folks and the mercenaries of Casdale for so long, I forgot you Lithanians could be interesting. Unfortunately, not even liches have a way to send the living into that space. Entering the Genesis Horn requires a stable connection between the two dimensions. It's like me calling out to my teacher and him answering a response.
Could the bleeding of these masked loonies actually wake him? Absolutely not. The old man spent over a decade trying everything he could think of. From ancient sarcasm witchcraft to the latest Athenian arts, all to no avail.
He even tried bringing the Temple of the Liches directly to Schillingstern, until the other masters came together to stop him.
Can you tell where the source of the problem is?
It's right in front of us. The Twin Empress's spires. Would you like me to to exile the Twin Spires along with everybody inside? I mean, I could. It's not that hard. I could exile all Shillingsim if you want.
If that was a joke, it's not funny.
Fine, when it comes down to it, he won't be relying on us liches to act, right? Your Gisselt's Watcher have drawn the curtains. What would they do if the Genesis Horn goes out of control, to the point where even the Twin Empresses couldn't stop it?
They destroy the Twin Spires along with the entire amphitheater.
Piercing noise!
Here it comes again.
I imagine that's gonna be a new enemy type.
The remnants of the Witch King. They just won't leave us alone, even in death. Ermengarde and I will take care of the matters here. Go to the Twin Empress's spires and find the path into the Genesis Horn. Take this. What's this? A cloth knot? No mementos, please. I don't need them. It's a communicator, not a memento. The liches use threads to communicate with each other. I don't know Sarkaz witchcraft, so I have to rely on a physical object. Pull the knot lightly, like this. And Ermengarde and I will receive the message. You'd better.
Don't worry, he'll be fine. Maybe a little mortally wounded, but I can fix that. Just casually.
Now go and face what you need to, Ebenholz. Everything I need to protect is below. Besides, someone needs to watch your back and keep your escape route open. Alright, I'll try to come back alive. I know you will. You too.
Aw, they almost became friends, kind of, sort of.
Who goes there? A Sancta? And an Imperial caster?
Hello, my name is Viviana Drost. The Imperial casters are all on the bridge below, fighting her Kampfschorn alongside the Kaiserinnen. I didn't expect to run into anyone on this floor.
Operator Ebenholz. Wait, you're also with Rhodes Island? Ha! What are the odds?
Everyone here is technically with Rhodes Island, including Viviana, because she's with me. She came home twice.
I am an executor of Laterano's Notarial Hall. We have a cleaning agreement with Rhodes Island. I was permitted to access some operator records while aboard the landship.
Rhodes Island? I have a few friends with a lot of history with that place. Does that mean we're on the same side? Piercing noise.
They've caught up. Do you hear it? Above, near the top.
Ja, it's getting clearer.
A cello? Yes, it is Artoria's music.
Be right back. I think an eyelash entered my eye. Ow, it hurts. Not just one eyelash, two eyelashes. They wanted to fight me, but I won in the end. A grayish rain falls in the balcony, flowing backwards before I can touch Artoria's strings and forming a cloud before her. Or rather, a smoke ring. I knew the arts of those Cabernet couldn't stop my smoke ring. And here I thought my first audience member would be my obsessed little brother.
Enough, little angel. No one wants to hear you play.
I thought you wished to enter the Genesis Horn, Her Fremont. The austere authority too. You all want to clean up her Kampfschorn's grim legacy, but deep down, you harbor other desires. Grimlock wants power. As for you, such deeply etched emotions. The Witch King's closest confidant. A clash of ideologies. and a joining of arts, your friendship was practically synonymous with Athenian's golden age. And doesn't your parting of ways make this reunion of old friends all the more alluring?
What are you, Bab? Are you reading my mind? Not even the king of sarcasm dare browse my scrolls. Watch yourself if you're doing so, Angel.
The music of your heart simply resonates with mine. Just as my music reaches the ears of many, I can't choose not to hear the whispers of your heart.
So that's your little trick. Your music was a key. Her Cumshorn's true melody had nothing to do with that score he scribbled down.
The soul of the traitor will lead them to the lost Genesis horn. Simon, Loris, Brandt, Gerhard, and Cora. I found the Witch King's final words buried in the depths of their emotions.
Good for you. You got to hear his dying ramblings. Would you like a medal from Athenian? You can take it and scram. Flutter on back to Laterano.
A gray cloud appears beneath Artoria. It explodes and engulfs the Sancta and her instrument. Sorry, her Fremont. I cannot stop. I must see her Cumshorn. I want to play him. I want to feel the life he led, his thoughts in his last moments, and the intense emotions that still echo in the skies above Lathanian, long after his death. I want an answer.
Your parlor tricks will only hasten your death, Sancta.
Fremont's having none of this.
I tried, Professor. I buried my hand in the tomes of the spire, looking for an answer with their pages. Lives are so fragile. One wrong choice, and they're gone forever. But her Cumshorn's will remains unwavering, even in death. Like an everlasting spire. What makes it so special?
Can her Cumshorn truly be killed? His arts are inside both me and Hildegard. We were weapons made to fight him. Was he truly ever mortal? If only something designed to defeat him can do so. They say you told her Cumshorn the secrets of eternity, hiding behind a curtain, not belonging to this land. He had avoided the gaze of death itself. What is that dimension like? The Liches have studied it for thousands of years, but no one has ever entered it other than her Cumshorn. By doing so, he's learned more than any of us. Are you not curious? Don't you want to steal the Genesis horn and take it for the Liches? We could bring back all of its knowledge. The Sarkids could make use of it. Risk? Since when do we need to listen to the twins? Lathanian has never been our country.
The risk comes from the dimension itself. The void. The endless demons. The void is far from empty. It is filled with danger, the unknown. No. Enough.
What was that blackness just now? Was it your last death, her Fremont? You glimpsed into the void. It almost swallowed you. I've heard that Liches can extend their lives almost indefinitely. Then, do you still feel fear when facing the destruction of the flesh?
You're talking about matters you do not and should not understand.
Why not? Life is short. Why must we approach its conclusion without knowing? Its conclusion knowing nothing.
The forbidden is forbidden for a reason. If you won't abandon your pursuit, then you'll have to die here.
Thousands of threads rain down from the void behind the Lich, faster than a gale and thicker than a deluge. They wrap themselves around Artoria's cello, her bow and strings, as well as her hands and torso. Exile. The old Lich has no plans to allow it to return to Laterano. He wants it to disappear completely. Artoria smiles. She draws her bow, perhaps for the last time. Forgive me my ignorance and arrogance, her Fremont, but I'd rather die the very next second, fall into the void, be lost to chaos, than stop playing. The last note sounds. Before she is swallowed by the infinite void, Artoria knows her performance is complete.
Do you see it? Ermengarde?
Thanks for the heads up. There's so many threads here that my soul was almost shaken from my body before I could see clearly.
That's the Genesis horn. It looks so much like the Witch King's legendary spire.
The dark cloud cracks. It is like a great eye slowly opening up in the void. Reflected within is none other than the dark spire at least 23 years ago. Right in between the twin spires, right where it used to be. Was the Genesis spire ever truly toppled? Did her Kamshorn, the Witch King, ever truly die? Did every Lathanian nightmare just return, or did it never leave? We'll find out soon enough.
The sound of the cello is gone. Arturia.
Hergiallo!
The knot is moving. It's a warning from Lessing and the Lich. This place isn't normal. Extinguish your candle, Fraudrost. Don't use any arts. I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Oh. The stairs. They've changed? Is this some kind of arts? An illusion created by Frau Giala's music? Or something else? Her ebonholes? Only faint footsteps. Soon, not even that, the spiral staircase continues to extend further and further, until its end is no longer in sight. Am I walking up or down? Viviana feels her consciousness grow distant. All she knows for sure is that she is alone on these stairs. That looks annoying to walk on. Just keep on going in one direction. That's all one can do. The Jews at the top kinda worry me, but it's okay. This should be fun. It might be the same as the one in Sami. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Uh-oh. Go get him. Actually, let's do that real quick, and then that. Whee! This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. We shall enjoy the fast-paced part. Do I want to bring out... Yes, I do want to bring out. Actually, how far did you go again? Okay, you're healing there. Okay. Wait, silly me right over here. That's good. Very, very good. Come on, enemies. Let me farm you easier. Come out. Don't be scared. Where are you? Seriously, where are you? Come out, wherever you are. I've set the stage. Okay, there, now they're coming out. No, he can't reach that far. But over here, this is fine. And let's make them speedy again. Be speedy. Enjoy being fast-paced. This be fine. Okay. I like that ability to speed things up. It's nice. It's very satisfying. That's probably my favorite part. Regarding the fighting anyways. Look at them, just all walking it up into their doom. Oh, adorable. Heh. The doctor will be here soon. Are you crying, Viviana? I don't think I have the strength to wipe away your tears anymore. You're too kind, too gentle. I often think back to the day we first met. I'd come from Schulingstern to Sturmland just to take you out of Werner's Spire. You huddled in the back seat, holding onto your tiny suitcase, hand leaning gently against my chest. I was wondering, was this little girl scared to leave her father? Scared of life in foreign Kashimirish? But no, you're just trying to stay low so no one would see your horns and cause trouble for Werner. Even though it was so late at night and no one would have paid attention to a car leaving the great spires of the Kurfürst. You were so little back then. I don't remember that. Nine, you do. You can lament, you can blame, you can mourn, you can regret, you can rage. All that. And only then can you... Please, don't leave me. You're the only one I have left. Let me see you one last time. I'm right here. I'm so glad I can't see the expression in your face right now. You deserve a better life than this, Viviana. If there really is one. Oh, Cora. Tall as the Empress's tower is, it is not endless, or so she believes. The spiral staircase extends before her, but direction itself seems to be torn apart by some unknown, irreversible power. She keeps moving forward, but she can't make any progress. Viviana's tired, and when one is tired, it is easy to notice what one has lost. Not unlike the 22 years of her life. Are you lost? Viviana looks up. She sees a young Capernae woman, whose face is filled with curiosity and concern. Sorry, I must have bumped into you in my hurry. It's alright. Are you okay? You look very pale. I'm fine. I was just thinking about something. Do you know this place well? Yeah, I live nearby. Where does this lead? Didn't you come here on your own? Where it leads is entirely up to where you want to go. Take care now, I'll be going. Where I want to go. That sounds fun. Viviana's fingers brush the handrail next to her. Ochre paint covers the emblem of Urtica under a thick layer of dust, so bright it could have been painted yesterday. The Witch King. She recalls a historical novel, Die Glut. When the Witch King first ascended to the throne, he gave his builders a blueprint of the Genesis Spire, a monument so great the likes of which Lathanian had never seen. Simply gazing upon the plans were enough to make one short of breath, as though standing before its foundation. The Witch King was scrupulous about every last detail of the Genesis Spire, down to the materials and paints used for every fence and railing, which must never fade in color. It would become the sole symbol of Lathanian. Has the Genesis horn fully descended? But that woman just now... Viviana comes to a startling realization. The Capernae who just passed by was like one of the young people living on the outskirts of Schulingstern, in the prime of her life, busy and tireless, her voice emanating the warmth of a fresh cup of tea. She should not be here, neither at the Empress's Spire nor in the Genesis horn. Viviana turns around, no one is there. What about you, Viviana? Why are you here? Why did you come back to Lathanian? Why did you leave? You couldn't say goodbye to your father. You couldn't return to the spire of your childhood, the tower you memorized along with the rain and wet moss. You watched Cora die in your arms. You couldn't take her away from this dusk-scorched city. What can you stop? What can you change? What can you possibly accomplish? If the Witch King isn't dead, if he sits at the end of this endless spiral, would you beg him for enlightenment, just like those fanatics? It really does sound a bit absurd. The staircase stretches on and on until Viviana sees a door in an inconspicuous corner. A tiny, familiar door.
Attempting to turn left at each intersection to ensure progress through continuous deviation. Unsuccessful. attempting to descend. Failed to reach the bottom of the staircase after 45 minutes. Attempt unsuccessful.
Oh gosh, he's been walking that long. Federico has spent a long time on the staircase of the Empress's Spire. He stops in his tracks after yet another failed attempt.
At the most basic level, arts are a rigid form of order. The twin empresses would not have hired a mentally ill architect to design their spires, and no artificer would have created such orderless architecture. My judgment was impaired due to my experience at Ludwig's Universitat Sonata Spire. The distortion occurring within this towers and related to arts. Has a Genesis horn covered the entire spire, causing changes in reality? Artoria's music can also absent.
After a brief pause, Federico pulls out a shotgun and fires in front of him. The sound of the gunshot fills the space, but the projectiles vanish right before his eyes as though wiped away by some formless something.
Her Sancta!
As he hears the sound, Federico sees the projectiles again, now moving with a slow and clear trajectory. Like a rock skipping across the water, ripples spread, and everything beneath the surface is revealed. Phew. Put away your gun, please. Oh, he made it out!
This is...
Put away your gun, please.
I do not require you to repeat yourself. I've heard something similar from everyone I met on this mission.
Of course he did. This is Schulingsturm, not Laterano. Loris always liked to talk about Laterano. He said that when the Sancta go out, they bang any buildings they don't like, and bang the buildings they do like even more eagerly. Oh, since she mentioned Loris. Hey, are you the missing sister? Yep. She mentioned John. John and I used to think he was making things up because he didn't like his hometown very much. Anyway, look around you. Schulingsturm is an old city. Any bricks or tile could have a score or poem etched on it by a drunk artist from a century ago.
This is...
Federico quickly assesses the situation before him. The site before him. If this place is the Genesis Horn, where the Witch King's legacy is kept, Artoria's final destination, then it is difficult to believe that his bullets could have broken through some sort of barrier and brought him here from that strange staircase. Federico examines the woman before him. The anger on her face is no more and no less than that of a citizen performing her civic duties to stop a rude tourist. Do you understand me, Her Sancta? Put away your gun, please.
Excuse me. We're clearly not the streets of Schulingsturm, but you seem unaware of this. You've mentioned a Loris and a John, assuming you're referring to Loris Borden and John Schuler. Please, tell me your name.
And what is my first impression of this realm? It kinda reminds me of that one place inside of Star Rail that showed up at the end of the story from where I'm at anyways. Yulia Schuler.
It is she!
This is inside the Genesis Horn, the Witch King's resting place. But the Witch King...
Stop looking around, little angel.
You caught up. I'm not surprised.
I wish I could say the same. The last thing I expected was for you to actually cling to a lich's thread and be voluntarily exiled.
So where's the Witch King?
Dead. What else?
No, I should be able to sense him, his arts, his emotions, his will. If I just... Artoria looks around. It is a space without boundaries, defined by only indescribable flows of light, like the respiration of the void. She steadies her cello, puts her hand on the strings, and sets her bow. Silence. Bow touches a string, but the vibration produces no sound. The motion familiar to her, so natural, has lost all meaning here.
finally noticed.
I can't play. I've lost my music. Is it because of the Genesis horn? Or the rules of the Witch King?
Arrogant, foolish, witless. That petty halo over your head is shedding light on your pale face. I wish I could do the same to your brain. Where do you think you are right now? Inside her Hercumshoran's coffin, a treasure trove of Pashas and Sargon, a Witch King's magic pocket from a Victorian fairy tale.
Her Fremont.
Sarkaz, the beginning and end of all threads.
As though muttering to himself, Fremont speaks an unfamiliar word in Sarkaz.
Or maybe, the name he gave it would be more in line with your understanding. Lithuanian. Desolate domain.
Kargareg?
What you're seeing is the other end of the real dimension. It's always in flux. Any rule, any reality disintegrates before it in an instant. Through the long eons, the Liches have caught only glimpses of it, and despite Hercumshoran's life's work, the best he could manage was to create a tiny volatile bubble in this infinite void.
Artoria does not respond to Fremont's anger. She simply touches the strings again, the unbroken hush. There is no disappointment or fear, only confusion. An emotion that only flashes across Artoria's face before she looks up and smiles. Perfect! So the Witch King didn't prolong his will through mystical arts, but instead created his own retreat in Kargareg. This pocket still exists, so he must be here. It's just that there's still a ways to go to reach his throne.
Aren't you curious what happened if you're exiled again in Kargareg?
Arturia realizes that the shadows are growing. The Lich's witchcraft has been moving while she was speaking. Thread-like shadows grow into thick vines around Fremont, merging into the ambiguous colors of the ground, and begin to come at her. Death and extinction, decay in its full bloom. I still haven't found my answer. I have to rediscover it in my music. I must perform the Witch King. I can't die yet. She is perfectly willing to meet her end performing, but what she can't accept is to fade into silence, with the truth so near. The shadows crack, and a gray rain rushes to engulf all. Oh? The Witch King's musician? Derwiner Ertem rings. Go, to the Genesis Spire. The performance begins. New music, new arts, protecting Vidunian against catastrophe and the cannons of Gaul. Hercumshoran.
Reality's unstable here. Was it caused by the exile? No. It was like this before we entered Kargareg. Hercumshoran's power is diminishing. The Genesis Horn's collapse is accelerating.
Arg. I'm still alive? The melody, it's gone. She clung to the one string of sound distinct from the environment and escaped the threads of exile. Now the melody has become tangible, emerging from the void and descending before her. It has taken human form. Unintelligible sounds. Was it your melody that saved my life? Unintelligible sounds. Were you a Spirecaster, the Witch King? The Witch King? How could you think that? I'm sorry. Careful, keep your voice down. Is someone after you? You're hurt. Stay put and hide here. Don't worry, I know this place well. No one will find it. Yulia, how did you get here, girl? The heck? Now what can I farm here? I just want to stare. Okay. Uh-oh, it's a tutorial. I mean, no fear from the tutorial. This should be fine. Composer's craft. Ooh, hello, hello. I definitely am enjoying the event. I just wish Artoria was nicer to me and let me summon her already.
This place is drowning the Witch King's aggravating cacophony, so exercise caution.
Caution? What's caution? I don't know caution. Who's that? There's a tuning node here, but it's protected by a screen and I can't hit it. Huh? That's a pretty intriguing phenomenon, actually.
The arts and sounds absorbed by that location appear to have been silenced. But at the same time, a new sound has been born from it. We can use this to attack the node.
Fascinating. It seems like the energy absorption phenomenon is disappearing.
Even in a tonal piece, follows the rules of rhythm. Let's see if I can counterpoint a repetition. Success. Now we can reproduce that phenomenon anywhere in the battlefield. You may attack it to continue capturing nodes.
Okay, that sounds fun. I'll place it right here. Are we capturing it? I think we are. Yeah, this be fine. Maybe I can keep it like that. Let's just keep it in slow for now. It's a tutorial. I feel slightly worried I could lose. Huh? It changed locations.
It would seem the laws of creation and annihilation are indeed quite unstable here. We must seize a chance at the opportune time. Furthermore, it appears that no matter how we attack it, the sounds it produces deal only physical damage. You can try attacking enemies with it.
I can attack enemies with it? Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's do it. No, they're getting past. Oh, sadness. Darn. Oh well, I can redo that later. Yeah. I forgot to put that down earlier. It's too late. I can redo that later. I'm not gonna worry about that one. That type of thing. That note. Or not really note. I'm not gonna worry about actually doing that. Over here, it should be fine without that thingy. Unless that thingy really is useful. And over here, okay. 2 exits, 2 entrances. Eh. I feel no fear. But what I do feel is that, like, I should change at least one person out. Let me put in... Kirin Yato. Okay. And then the last note for the night. Oh, cute! Don't just stand there. Come inside. Let me show you around my room. I want to see the room. What do you think? You decorated yourself? Leonie helped. It's so spacious and bright. Vivian, your room is lovely. Danke. This room gets more sunlight than any other in the entire spire. As shy and lazy as Sturmland's sun is, it never feels too dark in here, even on the cloudiest day. And then there's a veranda. It runs along the entire wall of the room. Look at that view. How far you can see. Look here. At what? The green roof over there. It's the Glenlossie Botanical Garden. Mooney took me there a few times. It has so many plants we don't see in Sturmland, or even Greater Luthanian, but I love its roof the most. Some Bolivarian claw vines work their way up there. It's probably too tall to easily get on top of the roof to trim them. So the staff just let them grow, and now they're covered in the entire thing. In springtime, clusters of pink flowers bloom from the vines, and the roof looks like a pink cloud. And now, in summertime, it's a deep green. The leaves of those vines never drop, By autumn, the roof will turn gold, and in winter, only a perfect sheet of white will remain.
Yeah, I can picture it now. Beautiful.
No matter how busy Vati was with his government work, he would always take me out of his day to come visit. Muti would paint the scenery while he quietly told me their stories.
Vivian,
Yes?
can you share those stories with me of Muti and Vati? That day in Marigold Alley, when he waited for her?
Nod. Vati said he was determined to say goodbye to her, but once he saw her, he couldn't bring himself to turn and go. Vivian, if two hands are destined to join, why let the lands come between them? Ugh, so cheesy. Anyway, Vati brought Muti back to Sturmland. He stood right here, beneath the spire, telling the worthies and bigwigs that if they didn't show Muti the proper respect, he'd never return to Hoshbrick Spire again. Nor would he succeed in the Kurfürst.
And did the nobles accede?
They did. All because Vati stood below the spire for 3 whole days. Many men came to either change his mind or just shout at him, but none succeeded. They had no choice but to give in.
Werner von Hochberg protected his love, like a hero from a storybook. They were married with the blessings of everyone around them. Viviana von Hochberg, your birth too, won the blessings of all. Wunderbar.
Oh? What was that?
Viviana, this is a wonderful life.
Is that Leonie? The door's open.
A maid walks in. Viviana looks to hide, but the maid goes straight for the little girl, as if she doesn't see Viviana at all.
Leonie, are you here for the carpet?
Fräulein Drost, please step aside.
It's a masterpiece by Minoan craftsmen. Very comfortable under my feet. And the image of the lake and the white walls on it is so vivid. I can almost feel the wind blowing when I look at it. Muti loved this carpet. She worked long and hard, scribing so many poems for others, just to be able to buy it. When she left Schulingstern, she didn't bring much luggage with her, but she did bring this carpet.
So, it would sell for a bit of money. You have to understand the dame. The spire is otherwise empty. Your room is the last decent thing in this place. If she could help it, the dame wouldn't touch a thing in here. But since Kurfürst Werner's death, she's been troubled by all sorts of people. She sold everything that could be sold. You're due to go study in Colombia, which takes no small amount of coin. She hopes that you won't have to live in poverty abroad.
Oh, but I could always not go.
This won't do, Fraulein. You ought to leave Sturmland to leave Lithuanian. The dame said as much to the Kurfürst 2 years ago, but it was only recently he gave the nod. You ought to set out soon, lest he change his mind.
What about Muti? Can't she come with me?
The dame is at the Kurfürst's beck and call. She must remain in the spire.
I should speak to Uncle Schild.
Fraulein, he may be your paternal uncle, but he is now Kurfürst of Sturmland. Just 2 years after the late Kurfürst Werner took the seat, he was assassinated while touring the domain. His marriage to the dame offended a lot of people, and some have speculated if it was Schild himself. What am I thinking? Why would I even tell you this?
Leonie, I have a question, and I'm not sure who to ask.
Go ahead.
If Muti and Vati had lived an ordinary life, a commoner's life, would we have been happy?
Fraulein, you've always been the sort of girl who sees things as they are. You know what's going on. Pack your things, put your beloved books and art collections into that rotten box there. I'll take care of the carpet and come back to put the rest in order.
Oof, this alternative universe. The Alefia girl looks out at the sea below the veranda. The wind is her only company now. They say the roof of the The Glen Lossie Botanical Garden is beautiful. But what's there to appreciate when the night shrouds all? Frau Giallo? It seems I really can't hear the voices anymore. No obvious wounds on you. Could your hearing be impaired? No, it's just much quieter than I'm used to. Even as you're standing right in front of me, I still feel so distant from you. Oh, is this a little better? Maybe I should speak louder? No, that's not it. Let me take you somewhere nearby to rest. The ones chasing you should be far away by now. Come, I'll help carry the cello. Why are you gripping it so tightly? Your fingers are turning white. It must be very important to you. It is my eyes, my ears, my voice, and my heart. I'm ashamed to admit it, but there was a time when I was even afraid of it. Oh? It took me some time to learn how to get along with it. How to get along with it, huh? Sorer? Why are you sitting in the dark corner with the lights out? Amina Luciana doesn't know you've come back. Why did you skip cello practice after rowing in the park? Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to have kicked your cello. The instrument is expensive. If I've damaged it, I have the money to compensate you. Fennec, take it away from me, will you? Hide it anywhere you like. The study, the attic, in the storage. You can even throw it away. Are you crying? You played another piece you hadn't mastered yet. I don't know. As soon as I draw my bow across a string, I hear voices. So many voices. They're real voices trapped in the bodies of men and women. They want to come out, and I should help them. But they're too loud, too chaotic. So many crying voices, laughing voices, whispering voices, voices furiously complaining. They all surge together. They're so loud, Fede. I can hardly breathe. Are you unwell? Should I get Amita Luciana? I just need some quiet. The room is quiet except for the isolated sobbing in the corner. Two black halos look at each other, their cold faint light being the only words they share. Just be quiet for a while, just so my head doesn't hurt so much, just for a bit. I would get used to the voices. I just haven't mastered the skill yet. It didn't take me long to learn to row a boat today. All I had to do was row it through the thick fog into the island in the center of the lake. A song comes from the far shore. Are you singing? It's a folk song popular with buskers on the street. Huh, it's got a nice ring to it, a nice sound to it, but I'm a little tone deaf, so... When John would come home after being bullied, I'd comfort him with the song. Thank you. You mentioned the street just now? Oh yeah, Carl Schmidt Street. The people of Schillingstrom also call it Marigold Alley. This place is trippy.
Signor Schuller, you haven't answered my question. According to the records of the Schillingstrom Gendarmerie, Friar Finn engaged in combat with the suspect to stop a kidnapping on Carl Schmidt Street in the autumn of 1085. The Baron was injured and unconscious for a period. When he awoke, both the suspect and the abducted Cabernet woman, 27-year-old Julia Schuller, were missing. Lord Borden took over the case and conducted a series of investigations, finding no promising leads. He found the Baron's testimony suspicious, with the only certainty being that the Baron was the last person to see you. He strongly believed that a secret lay hidden within, Something like the Witch King's later experiments on the infected civilians, and that you'd become the target of the Baron. But under the pressure from above, the Gendarmerie halted any subsequent investigation and closed the case as an accidental disappearance. Loris Borden took the case file back to his residence, and over the course of 15 years, it has grown increasingly thick. He never gave up on investigating the truth, and never gave up on looking for you, despite several clues indicating that Julia Schuler was already deceased. You've just informed me that this here is Carl Schmidt Street. In other words, you came to the Genesis Horn posthumously, and created and currently exist as a form of consciousness. In your cognition, you have never left the scene of the incident. So please tell me, what exactly happened in the course of that incident?
This is indeed Marigold Alley. We are standing in front of the piano studio at the intersection. Oh, Her Executor, we've wasted so much time. I really have to place these arts devices in their proper places quickly. Those masked men will be coming soon. Oh, she knows of the masked men. Do you mean to say the Witch King's remains appear at various locations in Kargarek, according to some knowable set of rules? Ah, are they the Witch King's remains? No, they're not the ones in reality, sowing chaos in the name of the Witch King. What you see are but manifestations of the Witch King's craft, the echoes of her Kampfshorn in a truer sense. Klongen Folgen, to follow the sounds, that's the way to see the Witch King. Why would the Witch King be in Schulingstherm? Although I suppose it makes sense, I'm already dead and the Witch King is too, so we're in the same place, that's illogical enough. It would also explain all these strange happenings. Perhaps, having lost the sound of music, I can no longer perceive what you see in your eyes. Why do you call this place Schulingstherm? Are you blind too? Frau Giallo, do you see the music instrument term? The what? Artoria looks in the direction the Cabernet woman is pointing and sees nothing but vague light and shadow. Reik music Hoshil has towers. The music instrument term, but only 11. Reik music Hoshil is the most famous landmark in Bokshof. Each spire of the Royal Academy is inspired by a musical instrument and was named for it upon completion. There are 11 instruments, and when Herbach presided over his Gloricus Capital Project, a grand urban plan, he added 11 more. 22 instrument spires corresponding to the 22 districts of Schulingstherm, like a perfect symphony of orchestra. Ha, you know your stuff. Ja, but there's only 11 music instrument term here. This is not the Reichsmusik Hostel of Schulingstherm, but that of the Witch King's time. And behind us is a tilted spire, circular, the color of jade. Der Schleifer term der Ewigkeit, the leaning tower of eternity. It was originally the spire of some Kurfürst or other. It began to lean due to changes in the strata. With the support of the magnificent arts of the spire casters, it maintained its baffling tilt without collapsing. This miracle Athenian architecture was destroyed in a catastrophe 4 centuries ago. Not only that, I see Der Reiner term das Aufdenkopf Gestel Strafgebod Dieter des Wissens der Schönbrunn term. Countless spires of different eras, forms, and functions. I've only read about them in books, or heard of them in stories from my elders. But here, they all stand. This isn't Schulingstherm, but it's not Vedenian either. I think the more proper name for it would be Lithuanian. Man, I wish we could see what she sees. The only part that feels familiar is the marigold alley beneath my feet. At the intersection sits a piano studio. At the end of the street is an art gallery. And right in the middle is my cafe. I'm glad they're still here. I rediscovered them. Here I can still live just the way I used to. So unfamiliar as this place is, I would still rather call it Schillingsturm. Maybe you haven't rediscovered your old life. Rather, it's because of your life that you came to be here. Oh? There are only 9 music instrument term left. When did the Cliver term and the wild horn drum vanish? Her Fremont was right. The Genesis horn is accelerating its collapse. Frau Giallo, do you see it now? Kinda, sorta, not really, but we're gonna fight instead. Unseen spire, for real, for real. Okay. I'm gonna put her here. Okay, this should be fine. There is no fear here. Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear. And then over here, I'll place him up. Seems good. And then over here, let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, let's gain a little bit more. And then... You know what? Let's do this. Why not? But time to bring out a healer because I need one. Oh, they're kind of tanky. These dudes be powerful-ish. And then over here is one dude. But then I need a healer too. You know, healer good. Oops. Did not bring a healer out soon enough. Silly me. Oh, my bad. Yes, be healed. Be healed, be healthy. This be fine for now. Totally fine. Yeah, no worries. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, Golden Glow. I did not mean for that to happen. Oh gosh, why are you so tanky, dude? Nah, this is fine. I know I can bring her out since I have a healer. Yeah, why not? Do I want to bring one of these out? Why not? You know, let's do it. Okay. Never mind, I didn't need it. All good. All is good. I'm going out. Would you like to come with? All right. Give me a moment. What is it? Zwei, eins. Frosty-man, guten Abend. The window facing the street opens in response, and a woman with a furrowed brow holds a paintbrush, gazing into the distance. The young girl waves to her, smiling as bright as the marigolds lining the alley. Faustina takes a break and opens her window every day right at this time. She paints all morning, then looks into the distance, listens to music, relaxes, and looks for inspiration. That's odd. Looks like she's in a bad mood today. She closed the window without waving back. Maybe she's having trouble with her art. I should go see her with Musi tonight. You know the neighborhood well, Vivian. You mean Carl Schmidt Street? Of course I do. I've been here all 10 years of my life.
Did your parents always live here?
They were away for brief stints at a time, I'm not sure why, but they always came back. When you compare to the rest of Schillingsturm, Carl Schmidt isn't anything special. We've got fewer flower shops, a bar, paint stores, and some stout buildings. We don't even have a spire. The people here are ordinary, plus a few struggling artists and nobles. But my parents really like it here.
Have they ever had any trouble?
Vati mentioned some trouble before, but he's prepared. He's been prepared for anything since he decided to stay.
Did Werner von Hochberg find a way to become common?
Vati's not so common. He may only teach literature at the commoners' school in Vine, but the big kids there respect him a lot.
I see. He probably used all of his connections in Sturmland and Schillingsturm, spent all of his savings, maybe even changed his appearance. It's no small thing to give up something one has. By the way, Vivian, is that a cake you're holding?
Yeah, the lady next door taught me. The marigold's stamen has a bitterness to it, but when ground into powder and pinched into a cake, its fragrance helps balance the sweetness. Muti found a job in Boxshof, earning a bit more than before. She's working as an editor for her favorite poetry journal. She gets home very late though. So I said I'd bring her lunch for a whole month.
Cake for lunch?
I'm assuming that's the lunch. I want some cake for lunch.
Isn't that exhausting?
You smell that?
What?
When the breeze picks up, the fragrance of the coffee shop up ahead wafts and over. I help with as much as I can so Muti and Vati won't be so tired. At least, enough so that they can take me to Frau Simon's gatherings on the weekends. They hold my hands as we walk down the long alley to her house. There are so many interesting people there. They play the piano so well, and speak so eloquently. I like it here. I don't think it's exhausting.
I'm glad of that. Viviana, this is a wonderful life too. What's this? Wasn't that Lucinda? How could such a well-behaved commoner have offended anyone? Did she write something she shouldn't have? Why did the authorities come so quickly? Is there any explanation? They were gone as quick as they came. What else can we say? Whispering. Be careful what you ask. It probably has something to do with her husband.
What timeline are they in now?
Werner. I've heard he's actually the heir to the Kurfürst of Sturmland, living incognito with his wife and daughter on Carl Schmidt Street for the past decade. I've gotten along with him so well all these years. I never have guessed. He's hidden himself so well. Oh? How could that be? Rumor has it that Werner didn't show up to class this morning. Who knows if he was taken away by a Hochberg vassal, or the Empress's voice. Odds are it was Frida Simon who gave him up. The woman's out of her mind. Shh, keep your voice down here. The cake thuds as it falls to the ground. Viviana hears sobbing. The fragile shoulders before her tremble, like flowers battered by the wind. She holds the girl's hand tightly. Vivian, don't look. Signora Yulia Schofer. I perceive only vague silhouettes of the remnants. Could you clearly point out the locations they may be hidden? My patron firearm may be of use. It will guarantee your safety.
Her executor, you may have misunderstood. Those men aren't here to do anything to me. When I first saw the masked people, I would keep my distance and hide, but I later found out they weren't concerned with me at all. Their appearance in any particular part of Schillingsturm usually means there's a new threat. They're more like a signal. What I think of your concept for the realm? Yeah, it could be like Dolly's herd kind of thing. I was thinking more of like a, you know, that one thing inside of Pinocchio, inside of Star Rail, that one bubble thing, where you're like, okay, time to insert this dream. Teehee. That's how I'm seeing it.
Threat?
Not a true threat that I don't know how to explain it. It's like a natural disaster beyond human comprehension, abnormally bad weather, or a waking nightmare. The atmosphere in Schillingstern has taken a turn for the worst. For the worse, especially recently. The clouds are heavy, and even the sunset looks faded. I'm always hearing loud, thundering noises. Several times I woke to find a whole chunk of Schillingstern completely empty. So many prominent buildings seemingly dug away by something, leaving only an empty space where they once were, like a whole section of history has been erased. The threat to raise the spires of different eras without a trace, gradually consuming all of Schillingstern. And sooner or later, the small alley I live in will be next.
So you jumped out to prevent me from using my patron firearm. You've been protecting this place.
Ja, I've never seen you before. I've had a powerful premonition in this time.
A premonition. Such feelings are usually nothing more than psychological indicators. Without backing in logic, it is difficult to take action upon them. But the Witch King's remains have indeed appeared.
Her executor. When you live in a place for 5 or 10 years, when you become a part of it, you develop senses like a foul beast, and can smell the storm before it comes. You would aid the echoes of her Herkomshorn? No, this is my own thing. Even if they didn't appear today, I'd find a way myself. But how will you fight against those disasters, the weather, or the waking nightmares? With those art devices you're carrying? The truth is, I've been going to different places around this time each day, especially to those blanks and the edges where buildings have vanished. I do wonder why Yulia became the guide for the siblings, or the Giallos. Well, Viviana has herself. That's dangerous. But I collected enough devices from those places. They seem to be a sort of echo device that collects art information. Frau Giallo, the masked men truly are the echoes of her Herkomshorn. Then these echo devices must be what the Witch King used to deal with his enemies. They'll surely come in handy. Are you going to renovate the street yourself? Marigold alleys on the outskirts of Bodenshof, very inconspicuous. No one comes here deliberately, except some tourists, painters, and wandering poets. Even all of Bodenshof, taken against the 22 districts of Schillingstern, isn't all that special. And in this Schillingstern, with its many storied historical spires, maybe no one would even notice such an ordinary alley. But it's where I was born and raised. No one knows it better than me. I know when it's lively and when it's quiet. I know all of its sounds. The singing of wandering troubadours, the humming tunes of pedestrians, the busy footsteps of the cobblestones, the sound of rain against the marigolds and awnings. I know where the resonance pipeline buried beneath the streets are still functional. I know which art sculptures and the corners can replace the broken parts, and how to connect them all in the most convenient way, and then activate them with these echo devices. But you don't know what the modified resonance pipelines will even do. These devices left in those empty areas suggest that. Oh, but Frau Giallo, there's something I have to do. And I can always do something. I told myself as much when I was very young. I said, I'd take good care of John and myself, and not be like our parents.
Your parents?
They passed away a long time ago. I think it was 1077.
Your parents were persecuted during the Twin Empresses' coup?
9. They were as common could be. They were sick at the time, and the tremendous sound of the Witch King's Genesis spire collapsing in the distance, the tromping of the soldiers outside the house, it all aggravated their illness. They always fear that, at any moment, the Gendarmerie would burst in and take us away, or even level the entire block. In turbulent times like that, there is nothing so shocking. They died in terror even before Herbach could launch his glorious capital project. When a terrible clamor drowns out everything else, we hear only the voices within ourselves. We find our fears and worries magnified. Yulia, forgive me for not being able to better comfort you. That's alright. I wanted to say that I can't let myself lose the courage to live as I have been. Maybe you still don't see our surroundings clearly. We've walked all the way from the gallery at the end of the street down to the cafe where I've spent almost a decade. I started working here just to make ends meet. The owner was kind in letting me and John live there in the shed behind the courtyard. I turned it into a proper home and even set up a little space for John to practice his arts. The boy is gifted, you know. We saw casters using arts to repair sculptures on the street, and he watched for only a few moments before going home and spending the whole night turning his room into a sound control space. I've talked about it with Loris, and will send him to study arts at Ludwig's Universität. Loris intends to make a career in Schullingsturm, and once he does, he'll give John a recommendation. Later, when his cafe was about to close down, I used all of my savings to buy it for myself. I became the owner, the waitress, and even worked on making my own special blend of coffee for its grand reopening. Danger is unpredictable, but life is tangible. You only want to protect it. Aw, Yulia seems like a nice older sister. From the piano studio on the corner to here, there are a total of 8 resonance pipelines, and these echo devices happen to fit the interfaces on them. I told you they'd be useful.
That is logical. Bach tuned all of Schullingsturm's resonance pipelines into his glorious capital project in order to adjust the arts arrays laid throughout the cities during the reign of the Witch King.
We're just a few steps away from a cafe now. The reconstruction project for this half is almost done.
Are they showing up again?
Ja, right around the corner from this cafe. I guess I'll need to work faster.
What is it?
This feels familiar. Similar to a certain day, exactly the same even.
Uh-oh.
It was the day I first opened the cafe. I stood by the door waiting for Loris and John. They were a little late. I knew the two of them wanted to do something special for the grand opening. They were a little too obvious about it. Loris went to order flowers in another part of the city, and specifically asked me to wait for him in the most conspicuous part of the block. He didn't even realize he'd left the order on the table when he came by to help the day before. That's adorable. Meanwhile, John had snuck into Frau Simon's house a few times the week before. Nearly all the kids in Marigold Alley have asked her to paint them a souvenir still life at one point or another. I let them go anyway. The beginning of a new life. I promised Loris as much too. The wind was strong that morning, enough to make you feel dazed. There weren't many people out on the street. But I think I noticed two standing in the corner opposite the cafe. They had black masks, with twisted patterns on them. They noticed me too. They walked over.
The Witch King's remains. That explains why you perceive the patterns in this Genesis horn as manifesting a concrete form. This was your only connection to the Witch King during your lifetime. Loris' speculation differed wildly from the truth. You just happened to be at the scene while the Witch King's remains were taking action. The city council had no intent to protect the nobleman. As one involved in taking action against the remains, one can imagine Freiherr Finn's ultimate fate. But early in the reign of the Twin Empresses, Schullingsturm needed to disassociate the entire case from the Witch King and his remains. They halted the investigation, concealed the truth of the matter, and hastily closed the case. That was the most efficient approach.
What do you mean?
Julia Schuler, your death was entirely coincidental.
Yay, we got the truth. But that is very sad. The day of the opening, she was so prepared.
I have uncovered the truth of the case. If recalling these details is a burden to you, please refrain from doing so.
9. Her executor. I only worry that the street may disappear from Schillingsterm at some point, just like the long-gone spires, and that I'll never have the chance to keep my promise to Loris.
Logically speaking, you have already.
Her executor. Have you ever made any unfulfilled promises?
Since accepting my commission with the Nobunaga Hall, there have been 2 instances where the descendant's will was way too ambiguous to be enforceable, and 2 instances where the target was inadvertently destroyed in an explosion. No other circumstances.
Oh, I don't mean at work.
A promise.
Fede, what are you doing? Drawing. In the dark?
It is not difficult. I am busying myself. You said you needed quiet.
Gracias. What are you drawing?
Laterano, by night.
Why would you want to draw Laterano by night?
Because the room is dark.
Of course.
Soror, the nasal tone of your voice has grown lighter. You stopped crying. You said you would gradually master your playing. I believe in you. Everyone says you have a talent for music. In general, talent should not bring pain.
I will master it, Fede. I have to. Are you going to finish your drawing? You seem to be having trouble.
Well, I've completed the overall outline. Now I need to refine the details, but when night falls on Laterano, where's the first place to light up?
I don't know. How about you wait for me to master my method and play my first piece? It won't take long. Then I can take you to the highest point in Laterano and see for yourself. That would answer your question, wouldn't it?
All right. To me, a promise is a form of contract. When I made the contract, my cognitive abilities were not yet fully developed, and I was unclear of the obstacles which she faced, as well as the painful meaning behind overcoming those obstacles. An undefined chaos, she herself was the first victim of her music. Therefore, understanding the full extent of her changes and preventing her from continuing to spread chaos is a responsibility I must fulfill.
Her executor. Is that what you've come to Schillingsterm too? Is the person you're talking about also a Sancta?
Artoria, female. 168 centimeters tall, straight black hair. A mole below her left eye. Carries a custom-made cello. She arrived here before I did. Have you seen her?
Oh yeah, I've seen her. I'm talking to her right now. Frau Giallo, you may not want to follow me any further.
Why not?
You just said that from the gallery at the end of the street to here, with your cafe just ahead, all the resonance pipelines here will soon be restored.
What is it you're keeping from me?
I believe he's the one who hurt you. He's a Sancta as well, yes, but he seems difficult to talk to.
Federico?
So he's here too. I appreciate your concern, but if it was my little brother who hurt me, you'd have found a few more bullet holes. So your siblings? It's hard to imagine.
Federico will definitely catch up to me.
The discovery of gaps along the paths one's been following inevitably causes confusion. But for him, that confusion isn't a ripple. It's a crack in the ice. Neither of us can stop until we find answers. All right then. Phew. This is the last bit. The piano studio around on the corner. The gallery at the end of the street. The beginning and the end. All the resonance pipelines converge here.
Yulia.
I know what you want to say. This might not have any effect at all. And if so, I'll think of another way. I can't let myself just hide away in my home, waiting for the storm to pass. The echo devices are all in place. Now it's time to activate the resonance pipelines. Without direction, without daylight, everything is covered in shadow. The Genesis horn seems to be forever shrouded in mist. but Artoria perceives the illumination of the pipelines, like a flame in the dark. Oh! Rolling out from the two of them, from near to far, the surrounding scenery gradually becomes clear. She sees everything as clearly as in Yulia's eyes. A street lined with marigolds, countless peculiar spires. The place is not chaotic. It is one that exists beyond time and space, a grand construct. At the same time, music flows into her ears. It is the music of all Marigold Alley, and also a part of a grander movement, a composition that belongs to her Kampfschorn. Yulia, my cello is silent, but I've heard your innermost thoughts. They're touching. Allow me to express my gratitude. Arturia bows to the Cabernet before her. So, the most common soul and the most powerful are both written on the same sheet of music. The eerie winged sculptures prostrate on both sides of Artoria, supporting towering stone pillars and angles defying mechanical explanation. No, the pillars are suspended in midair. A palace, solemn and majestic, befits a king. At the end of the steps, a man stands motionless with his throne. Red curtains sway and cast layers of light on him, veiling the monarch's countenance. But the infamous twisted horns belie his name. Oh, she's found him. I've seen you in so many fragments of history and legend. I've crossed paths with you in the memories of so many, including the Liches. But it wasn't until I saw Yulia still alive that I caught the faintest sense that this journey could really lead to a meeting with the man himself. Allow me to introduce myself, Artoria Giallo. Salutations, Otto Deitmar, Gustav von Urtica, Herr Kampfschorn. Your Majesty, the Witch King. Alrighty. That is a pretty good cliffhanger. And then, for next time, would I be able to finish it? How many stages were there in total again? Because I've done... Let's see. 1, 2... I'm not going to count the tutorial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10-ish. So that should be close enough to the end, yeah. Today's story. Well, it was nice to find out about Yulia, but oh, that is just sad. It was just unfortunate timing for her. Very, very unfortunate timing. That was truly oof. Though hey, we met the Witch King. I do like how for the Twin Empresses part, they were just enjoying the show. They're like, we knew that Cora was gonna cause something, but it's okay. Let's just see how it plays out. Let her cook. And then our boy Michael. Poor boy. He couldn't really do anything. But yeah, good cliffhanger. I should be able to finish it for sure next week. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day at Epic Gacha Luck. I shall see you guys later. Bye bye. Yay. For sure then.